Okay, well, hopefully you guys had a nice weekend. I mean, sounds like some of you had some fun, maybe. Anyway, I did, and now I pay for it because I have to grade a whole bunch of stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. Some of you probably had to work. Sorry. Some of you may have got to go camping. Good deal. Some of you may have had to deal with sick kids. Sorry for that. But eventually, they don't get sick as much. And then they go away, and you're like, well, that sucks too. So, anyway, so we're going to try to get through the rest of Excel. So there's one more section of Excel that I need to go over. And basically, I'm going to let you guys work the rest of the day on Excel and getting it kind of finished up and whatever you need to work on. If you're still working on Word stuff, get it done. If you are working on Excel, keep trucking. If you want to work on the AutoCAD part, Mr. I'm going to have a baby, it should work.
It's working.
Okay, cool. Microsoft decided to mess with us, and so yeah. But we got it fixed, we think. You said it's working, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So as long as you have your Autodesk login set up already, which is what I did it the first day or the first week, you should be good to go, and you should be able to log in here and it work, whichever version you want to use. And let's see. What else? Anyway, so I will try to get caught up on grading. I've got 5 classes to catch up on. Yeehaw. 2 of them are this class. Double yeehaw. So anyway. And last Friday I had to leave early because they shut the power off to fix a transformer that got put in wrong. Luckily it didn't make anything in here go backwards. Some of the other areas in this building it did. So anyway, when things start making expensive noises, it's not good. So do you guys have any questions about anything right now? Now, part of it is remembering that if you don't have the right color showing up, remember you have to go and change which theme you're using, and that's kind of important there. Because, you know, in Microsoft Word, it's under Design. Remember, the theme that you want to be using is the Office 2013 to 2022. Otherwise, your colors won't show up right. Now, in some of the assignments, I mentioned that. I think I added it on like the Excel or something. But on Word, you know, we went over that. And then on Excel, it also has that too. Now I won't get I haven't figured out why every time I go and do an Excel thing, then my password thing isn't on my list on my phone anymore, and I have to go find it again, which is not helpful when you're trying to figure out what your password was. So there's another use for Excel, is creating a password keeper list thing. Instead of downloading, you know, because we get Excel for free, or at least for right now you get it for free. And honestly, you can export it into something else that, you know, Google Sheets could pull up anyway. So you could still have it for free instead of, you know, downloading one of those password manager things. You can make your own, because the cool thing is that you can actually get it to alphabetize it and move everything at the same time, which is kind of nice. Anyway, let's see, page layout. Yeah, page layout is where themes are on Excel. And so Office 2013, which is the second one, the 2022 is the one you want to use. And that'll get you the right colors for what we're working on. All right, so the part I was going to kind of talk about a little bit today, this morning, is the fourth part over here. Now, there'll probably be a lot of questions just because this one's a little bit more challenging. You're like, oh, great. Nah, it's not bad, okay? It really isn't. Get students registered. Well, I think everybody's registered, so we should be good. All right, so we're under Excel. We're going to work on the fourth part, learning. And what I did figure out is on the first part of Microsoft Word, you know, I have those couple of SAM activity things, but I don't have it on the second one. I think that was something I needed to like delete because it's not the interactive part thing. The last one on that one was. So like on the rest of them that we have, they have like the training part where it says SAM training. Of course, this is Excel Module 4. This one is where you do it interactively. Now, I will give you a little caveat on that as far as, or disclaimer, it's a computer. If you don't do it exactly the way it says, even if you type it in, remember I said something about if you click on things like the cells to pick on, the formulas to, you know, kind of get things going, it works better. So that's kind of a little hint. And especially if you do the training part and you go through and do it, you don't have to, but like if you wanted to, just because it's more of an interactive thing instead of like going through the tutorial in the book and reading through it. Like I said, the tutorial files, you have to go up to the orientation, download it, and so on. Maybe eventually I should just include those since people like to do them, which is fine. But then people think you have to do them, and so, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those catch-22s. And if I had you go download the other stuff, then you'd have too much stuff, and then you wouldn't know what you're doing, and you'd think you had to turn it all, and anyway. So I'm kind of SOL either way. So I'll just do the best I can, and we'll muddle through this together. Okay, so the fourth part is on analyzing and charting financial data. Wow, something really fun, right? All right, so let's look at what this actually kind of covers. So, what is this bigger? Oh, you know what? I just love how you tell it to get bigger, and then it goes over and it just takes out part of the page, and that wasn't really helpful, was it? Well, okay. Guess what? I don't care if you have an update. So then what we do is we go up here and we just click on the little zoom thing. Zoom it up to where we can sort of see it. It's all blurry, but hey, why not? So this is an example of where you're messing with the charts. And this is similar to one of the assignments that you're going to do. So the tutorial is usually similar to a review assignment for the most part in this book. But that Philbin Financial Group, you're going to be messing with some different parts on it. Anyway, moving on. Might want to put that out. All right, so let's see. So if you were actually going to do this one, you'd have to have this information here. Let's see. Okay, so we've got some different kinds of charts that you're going to be playing around with. You've got bar charts or column charts and hierarchy ones. In other words, well, okay, so let's back up. So with the column or bar charts, the actual types that you have, so that you might choose from, would be like a 2D or 3D column or a 2D bar or 3D bar. You're like, what the heck is that? Well, when you go to Excel, don't need that. And we go over to, no, come on, Brian. Let's throw that one. It's definitely not Monday, but it feels like it, right? I know, there we are, charts. Yeah, insert charts. So insert and then charts. So recommended charts there. So like here we've got, these are the different kinds of charts you could, excuse me, that you could pick from under the column and the bar. So there's that one. So you could pick. And so if you were going to do that, then you would pick like, you know, one of these. But I need to have some information to pull from. The next one over is a tree map and a sunburst. And then these are waterfalls, funnels, docks, and surfaces, and a radar. I don't know what the heck that is. Howdy. Oh, no. Oh, sure. All right, and then we have our pie charts, you know, the ones that make us hungry. We have pie tarts, Pop-Tarts. There we go, Pop-Tarts. Yeah, sounds good. 2D pie chart, 3D pie chart, and then a donut chart. I don't know that I've actually seen a donut chart used, but hey, there could always be a first. All right, and then let's see, above that was our 2D line, 2D areas, 3D areas. So, you know, different ones like this you might be playing around with. And then you have histograms, blocks, and whisker. Okay. Not sure about that one. Then you have combination charts where you can have more than one type intermixed, which just looks really busy to me. But, you know, depends on what you're trying to do with it, right? And of course, then they have some maps where you can do maps. Maps are cool. This is cool. And of course, you can always click on, oops, you can always, to create a chart, select the cells that contain the data you'd like to use. Okay. So basically, you should probably pick some data before you go and make a chart, right? Probably makes sense. So I should probably have some of that information on. Well, just for giggles, I guess I could go and do that. So here we go. So here's some examples of these kinds of charts: pie chart, column chart, tree map. And then it talks about creating a chart. So then they go in, they make a pie chart, selecting the data source. All right. And it probably would be smart for me to have that. We'll muddle through it and we'll kind of go from there. Because part of this is just you have to do it kind of thing. And maybe I don't do a great job of this version, but we'll go with that. Quick analysis tools. Now, we did talk about that a little bit, where, so let me go and pull up maybe, what's one that I had earlier? Expense accounts, codes and views, codes and contests. I must not have saved the one I was working on the other day. Oh no. Those are all ones that have things on them that are important. You know what? Let me do that. There we go. All right. Always the best to remember what you're doing. Quick analysis. All right. Yeah, so I believe the other day I talked about, so like if, let's say you had this information here and you went to data, and there's what if analysis. Gotta get the cobwebs out of my brain this morning. Formulas. No, it's not. Oh well. It's on here somewhere. It's not. It's one of those. Well, I was seeing a conditional format. Never mind. Quick analysis. Oh, never mind. Okay, so the quick analysis tool thing, I forgot. So when you pick data and then it gives you a little tool down there in the bottom corner. I was thinking of conditional formatting, sorry. Anyway, but you can do a quick analysis. And if it says use a quick analysis tool, that means you're going to highlight a range of information and then you're going to click on that. Then you've got data bars, you've got colors that you can put on there, icons greater than, less than, or greater than, text, clear. Then you have charts that you can add, like a scatter chart, line chart, cluster charts, things like that. Then you got totals where you can do a sum, an average, count. Just kind of cool. And you got tables and spark lines. Very good. Lines. Usually it does it after it. Apparently I didn't do something, so there you go. Points. Markers. Well, apparently the information I have is not good for doing spark lines. Anyway, the best laid plans. So anyway, the quick analysis tool just means that you can highlight some information, click on the little button that pops up at the bottom right, and you can do some interesting things. All right, so anyway. And for this part of it, you're probably going to be making a chart of some kind. Now, you might be doing spark lines, but I don't remember if it's on the quick analysis or if it's on somewhere else. But you do spark lines, and that may be under the conditional formatting too. But anyway, moving, resizing charts. For the most part, let's see, location, move chart. Okay, so if you want to move a chart from where you created it, so like you might create it on one sheet, but it tells you to move it over to maybe the first sheet, but you created it on the third sheet over, okay? So you can move it, and so it says make sure the pie chart is selected, then on the ribbon, click on Chart Design tab, if necessary to display it. In the location, click the Move Chart button. So then when you click on the Move Chart button, which I haven't made a chart, so I guess I can't do that. I guess I could go find the answer one and mess with it. Anyway. And then it says, where do you want to move it to? The new sheet. Object in. So displays the pie chart on its own chart sheet. So then this would make its own sheet, or you want to embed it, embed the pie chart in the summary worksheet. So basically you can put it, in other words, move it to another worksheet. Okay? Remember, the sheets are the ones down there at the bottom. And to rename them, you just pick it, right click, and you can mess with it. As far as renaming and such, moving, and all that good stuff. All right, so click OK to move the chart box, and then it would move it to where you want it to. You're probably like, well, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but oh well, we'll figure it out. So if you click on it, it has grip. So anytime you see those little white dots, or in the case of AutoCAD, they're usually little squares that are blue. And then when you activate them by picking on them, they turn red. Well, on here, they're little white dots. And so if you grab it at the corner, what's it going to do? Any ideas? Y'all know what a grip is. It's something you grab and you move it and it does something. It changes the size, right? So the corner is going to change it both height and width. Whereas if you grab the middle of the bottom, it's just going to make it, shorter. Or if you grab one of the sides in the middle, it's going to make it, skinnier kind of thing. But if you want to keep it in proportion, for the most part, you use the corners. Now, does that mean that I said mostly in proportion. It doesn't mean that you couldn't necessarily mess it up, but you're actually doing two directions at once. And that one's pretty straightforward on that. All right, so they talk about an exploded pie chart. I didn't know we could explode things. Nice. C4, right? Chart elements. So individual parts of the chart are called chart elements. So, for example, the title might be up at the top, okay? The horizontal axis title, so remember horizontal runs left to right. So this is probably good. We're going over this so that when you get to it, you're like, what does that mean? Okay, well, here it is. You got the horizontal axis title. Here's the horizontal axis with the data on it, right? Here's your legend. And this is a data label. Data marker are these little dots. So that's your information, your range of information that you're using turned into a picture with dots, right? And then this is 0 to 30,000. This is your vertical axis. So your horizontal one is in years. Oh, and by the way, when you get to the one similar to this, there's a mess up in the book. It tells you that it wants you to set it up to where it's in 5-year increments, but it's a year off. They goofed up somewhere. Well, basically what they did is on their example file, they didn't start with like 2000, they started with like 2001. So like instead of it being 2000 to 2005, and then 2005 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, you're going to be like 2001 to 2006, 2006 to 2011, that kind of thing. So just so you know that when you get to that part, hopefully that this rings in your head like, oh yeah, he told me it was going to be off. So that's that. So don't let that mess with you, okay? And I'll show you which one it is in the assignments here. But anyway, but the years are kind of set up like this. And so like it might start with 06. Well, it doesn't start with 05, so it can't be 5 and then 10. I mean, I guess you could adjust it if you wanted to, but it's still. So if we do it in set it up to divide it into 5-year increments. And then at some point, I think you have to play with this one too to adjust it. All right, so adding data label chart elements to the pie chart. All right, so here's your pie chart, data label, display there. So how do we do that? So when you click on this, you have this little plus symbol, or you should. And so if you click on it, you have information that you can adjust. Now, if you want to go open up the chart, you know, like how the navigation bar pops up over on the left, you know, the find and replace, that thing. Well, there's a chart type one that pops up over on the right-hand side. When you click on, well, like that black arrowhead with the little black to the right arrow, and that should open up the chart. I don't know what to call it, window, toolbar, whatever you want to call it over there on the side. But you can go in here and you can uncheck these boxes here. You just click on the plus. And then this is like some style stuff, and then this is a filter here for filtering things. So anyway, arrow displays formatting options for the chart element. So it's the formatting, chart formatting, I don't know, menu. I'll go with that. All right. So formatting chart elements, data labels, right row, center. All right, here we go. So this is what I was talking about. So when you clicked on that little right arrow, the format pane comes up for the data labels, depending on what you picked. And you can go between the label options, the text options. So you've got here what kind of the label contains, values from cell, series name, category name, value, percentage, show leader line. So those are all things that you can do here to adjust things on your pie chart. So pie chart shows percentage associated with each slice. You got percentage there. Place labels outside and the end of each pie slice. So label position, you can adjust that. That's kind of nice. And then if there's something to do with the text options, you can adjust those as well. Let's see if it shows us that part of it. You also have legend options. So, all right, so just under the label options, you've got like your fill options, you've got kind of the shape, and then the size, and then over here you've got a formatting category. Anyway, it works with the labeling here. And then when you go down here, and it looks at, okay, so you can also go to the legend, click on the legend, and then it'll pop up with legend options. So you can click on different parts inside of here, and you're going to get your different options over here on this formatting pane that pops up. All right, and remember, you know, like gold accent 5, lighter 80%. You know, that would be under like the coloring. So we got fill, and then there's the color. So, you know, you can go in and if you're on the right theme, that is. Remember, you got to be on the right theme. Okay, chart styles. Okay, so you're going to have chart designs going to pop up for you when you click on your chart. So then you can go in and adjust the style of that, whatever it is, chart, whether it's a pie chart. They've got different styles that are set up under the right theme. Remember, themes and styles go together. So make sure you're on the right one so you find the right one that you need. So you click on this to get the styles part. Okay, makes sense. So click on that. That'll give you under chart design. It'll give you your styles, and you can adjust the style of your chart. Aren't y'all looking so forward to doing these assignments? Aren't they great? Aren't they awesome? Yes, that was sarcasm, but I'm trying to do it in a, I don't know. Y'all aren't really good. So color schemes for the charts. Obviously, you can get that from this option as well, because that's part of your style. Okay. Of course, they picked on this. Looks like, or little thing one. Anyway. Color schemes for the charts, overlaying chart elements. Don't overuse the technique of overlaying chart elements. Too much overlaying of charts can make it difficult. Yes, it could make it difficult to read. We don't want to do that. Okay. So, what if analysis? Oh, what if analysis of charts? Okay, so you can do what if scenarios, which is kind of cool. So you can say, if you do this, this will happen. People like to do that so they can kind of figure out what, some options are that they might have. And basically you have to go under, let's see, chart. And so they pick some different U.S. equities versus U.S. bonds. Well, we'll move along because the what if analysis is pretty straightforward, because basically you have to pick the information, put it in the chart, and then you do the little what if analysis, which is actually over here. Under data. So it's under forecast. So you've got what if analysis, you've got scenario manager, goal seeker, data table. I think goal seek is the one that you end up using on that assignment. Like I said, basically you have to have your chart up, you make use your information. All right. Let's see, creating a column chart. So that's a column chart versus a pie chart. Or column or bar chart. And you can use the same information, just change what type it is. It's fairly straightforward. All right, so they start talking about your different kinds of bar and column charts. Clustered column. Ooh. There we go. Editing chart titles. Pictures, people. Fine, pictures. Setting gap widths. Okay, so you picked it, you went over and clicked on the plus, and then you're on Format Data Series, and it says negative series overlap values, move the columns within the category closer together. So if you want them closer together or they overlap, where they overlap, you go negative. If you want them to be further apart, obviously you're going to make it a positive gap. And all that is how far are the bars apart. So that might be something you might end up doing. Adding grid lines. So under the chart elements, click on the plus, and then you can check the things you want. So grid lines is right there. And my watch thinks I haven't moved. Imagine that. love it when your watch bosses you around. Okay, creating a line chart. I'll give you an example. So here's the thing. Here's how you use the tutorial. You know, if you're not sure how to do something that it asks you to do, go back and look in the tutorial, click on the table of contents, and then click on that area. You know, because me going over it sometimes isn't helpful to you. Sometimes you just have to read it, or even maybe go find in maybe the interactive training part, maybe that helps. But if you need help with the directions, I'll be happy to help you, because I, for the most part, know what's going on with them. And we've done this before, so we kind of know where things screw up and where things don't. The scatter charts where it goofs up. That one, this one, the one that's similar to this one's not too bad. Okay. All right. Category axis. So it shows you how to edit the category axis parts. Now this is what I was talking about. So it says specify interval units 5. So it's going to go 6, 11, 16, 21, 26. So in the book, in the assignment, they screwed up and they didn't start their numbering from 2000 or 2005. Because if I change it to 2005, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, that kind of thing, it works. But just get to this part, it's going to be 6, 11, 16, 21, 26, or some variation therein. All right. Formatting data markers. So you're going to have to go in and format the data markers. So you have to click on the plus, go over here, format data series, click on data series, go to the black arrow, and then displays markers as circles with a size of 5 pixels. So this is where you would change, you know, maybe what it is, what it looks like, color, that kind of thing. Ooh, a combination chart. Oh my. Hopefully we don't have to do that. So the combination chart is just, you know, you have one chart on top of another chart, basically. And it just helps you get maybe a better idea of what's going on, or it makes it too busy, which is probably what it would do for me. Let's see, axis titles. Yeah, this is something, yeah. So when you rotate your axis titles, it tells you to rotate it. There's one where you have to do that. And basically what it's going to do is, so on the left-hand side, it's going to be as you were looking at it from the right. And then on the right-hand side, it's going to be like you were looking at it. You turn your head to the left. You know, you actually turn your head to the right. But anyway, but it's like you're looking at it from the left, I guess I should say. In drafting, it would be I was using my left hand to write it. And then the one on the left, I was using my right hand to write it so that I could see it. Anyway. All right. Let's see, editing a value axis scale. Let's see. So they got units. So this is where you can change your values so that you can get your scale going, which is this right here. So you can adjust the secondary axis scale. Honestly, a lot of that review problem, you can go back and probably figure out a lot of what it wants you to do by just going back parts of this. Okay? Yes, sir. 2001 type chart. No, you're going to use that chart. You're just going to not worry about it being like 2000. You know. No, you're going to use it. It's just you're going to. The only way to correct it is you have to change the data. They gave you the data, so you'd have to go in and redo all those dates. And that's not what the point of the thing is. The point of it is so that you understand how to set it into, you know, divisions of how many years instead of it being, you know, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that kind of thing. So no, you don't have to go back and correct it like that. All I want you to do is understand that the numbers that are going to come up doesn't go, you know, it doesn't match exactly what the book says because the book is wrong. Okay. Gave up and left it as is. What do you mean? How to fix it? You mean how to fix it from 2000 to make it go to 2000 and then 2005 and 2010 and that? Yes. Yes, I can, but I'll have to do it here in a little bit because I'll need to find somebody's file that's close enough to where I can edit it and mess with it. So that'd be fine. If you want to email it to me, go for it. Let me get finished through. I'm going to go ahead and finish going through this, and then I can go back and address that, okay? I know that's stopping your progress, but it'll be okay. Yeah.
By 5-year intervals, I was curious if it was wrong to the point that
It's the data that you're given that's wrong. That's the problem. They should have started at, you know, should have given you data that started with 2000, not 2001. If they had started with 2000, then the increments could be made to work correctly.
my thought process is saying that they are 5-year intervals.
It is 5-year intervals. That's fine. That's why I'm saying it's just not going to show up the way they're saying in the book. They're saying, hey, it's going to be 5-year intervals of 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015, 2020. It's still 5-year intervals. It's just a year up is what you end up with. That's why I'm saying it doesn't matter. I'm telling you that I'm trying to tell you so that you're not, hey, this didn't come up the way the book said. That's all I'm trying to do, guys. You know, I mean, it's not, I'm not trying to make it into rocket surgery, okay? I mean, honestly. And I appreciate that you guys are very in depth on some things, but some things you have to kind of, okay, what does he mean by this? Not, you know, very into it real hard, okay? It's not that I don't want to help you. I'm just trying to explain it. It's just simple. It's just what it is. It book's wrong. Done it. All right. Anyway, So, yeah. Well, anyway, it goes through and talks about scaling your secondary axis. Then it goes on to the second part. This is where you get into the scatter charts, data bars, spark lines. And like I said earlier, or last time, you go through the instructions for the scatter chart. If it doesn't end up looking exactly like we think it ought to, then it's still okay because you went through the steps. And I've yet to figure out where students, get off track or the book gets you off track. I don't feel like it's your fault. I feel like it's the book's fault. Because I can blame the book because the book hopefully would be correct, right? Well, obviously, if you follow the directions exactly, but what if you read the directions differently than somebody else? That can cause issues, obviously, and lead you down the wrong path, or you just clicked one thing different. Excel has so many settings on these charts that if you do one little thing, just a slight different than what the instructions told you, or you misread it or whatever, it can goof it up. And then I've yet to been able to go back and figure out where somebody goofed up, and I'm just like, okay, you get a scatter chart on there, and hopefully some of the stuff shows up right, and we'll go from there. But I do want you to try. See, some people will be like, oh, so it doesn't matter if I get one on there or not. No, you have to get one on there. Yes. Period. And then hopefully it turns out the way it's supposed to, and we'll go from there. But I don't want you to get frustrated and spin your wheels if it's not doing what you thought it would do. I'll see if I can help you fix it real quick, but it may not be easy to do that. All right, so. Yep, exactly. Sometimes it just takes a second. Sure, that's fine. That'll make it easier. Either that or I have to go download somebody else's. Okay, yeah, go ahead and send it to me. That way I can pull it up and demo and straight at some point. All right, okay, so it shows you exactly how to create the scatter chart, gives you this preview, and of course you have to move it, and then you have to go in, and you have to make adjustments to it. Editing the chart data source, that's always fun. I think this is the part that kind of messes with people here, is the data labels part. And I need to go back and look at it, so what I may do is go back and look at how it is, and then that way I can show you better how that part works, because I think this may be where it goes off the rails, because you actually have to go in and edit this and find the right one, and I think that's what happens. So, anyway. But I know it does show up right if you're able to get it to do what you want, what it says it wants you to do. But I think that's the problem. I think it's the editing the series part is where it goofs up. So we'll look at that and see if we can figure out a way to make it work better. Okay, adding graphic objects to a workbook. Hey, something simple. Yeah. Adding a data callout to a chart. What is a data callout? Oh, Data callouts are showing the abbreviation names of the Sunrise Fund and S&P 500. That you should be able to get to work. So what's going to happen is you're supposed to be able to have a few other dots on there, not just your S&P and whatever the other one is, Sunrise Fund. So yeah. Anyway. Inserting a shape. That's where I was going. All right, so they're going to do a text box. Oh, text box. So they did a text box. So they insert shapes, insert an image file, and then got a gallery of icons, insert 3D objects. So what they did is they put in a text box right here, which you go to insert, and then I believe it's under shapes. Let's look. I forget, and it's better if I show you. So you go to insert, and there should be a text box. Yeah, here's text box right here. So you can do text box. So you click on text box, click on text box. There's your text box, and then you can type something in it, and if you click off of it, then you can go back and click on it, or you should be able to. And then when you get the little move icon, you can move it where you need it to be. And that's just a text box. The other thing they had under insert, you've got pictures, you've got shapes. So, if you wanted to show an arrow, you can hold down your left button and you drag it to the kind of the size you want. And you can change, what color it is or that kind of thing. You can mess with the outline and all that fun stuff. So that's under the shapes, or that's under insert, and then shapes. And then you have icons. What's an icon? Let's see what an icon is. Wait, while we load icons. Oh, we got icons. We got an airplane, we got an alarm clock, we got suspected. Hang on, I need to get this real quick. I'll be right back. No, never mind. Oh well. He's all good. I'll call him back later. How you doing, Clint?
I'm good.
All right. So anyway, putting back. So these are different, basically little pictures you can put in there. You got some emoji looking things. There's a unicorn thread. Oh, well, that's cool. Thanks. Oh, there you go. Apparently they left a message. Very good. I'll call them back. You got a mountain climber in person. Looks like they're running for their lives up the hill. There's a baby bottle. There's a baby. All kinds of fun stuff. Got a banjo, banana peel. Make it look like we're playing Mario Kart. So anyway, these are all just icons. Apparently they have cutouts of people. I don't know why we have a Jonathan and a Melissa. Oh, these are real people. Oh, that's scary looking. Interesting. You got stickers. There we go. Illustrations. All right. So you can kind of spiff up your presentation of, your charts and stuff. So anyway, those are kind of things that you can do as far as inserting that in. But they have you insert a text box, which is under insert, text box. And then you put some information there, and of course you can drag, make it bigger. And then they've got the graphic icons we were just talking about. Let's see, what are they doing? Oh, they put in some stars here. So they pasted some stars inside of those cells, or over those cells. It's like fun. Basically, you just pasted it in there. says insert into cell B9. So you click on B9, insert, and then you go to the graphic format, change it. Stars, just paste them in there. You're like, you make it sound like it's so easy, and it probably is. Tools for managing graphic objects. So when you click on a picture or anything in, like charts, anything, you're going to get another little menu up there in your ribbon. Okay, so you get another ribbon that and you can click on it, and then you can go in and adjust whatever it is that you're messing with. And then you also have the information over here on the right that's going to show up because we've already been messing with our charts. So there. Other chart types. So let's see what we got here. So they talk about these hierarchy ones, the tree map and the sunburst. These other ones, we're not doing any of those if I remember right. Pareto charts. I'd have to talk to my son to know how to pronounce that right. But anyway, histograms. Histogram looks like a bar chart, but they're kind of like real close together. And then you got your information here, information here. So it's very similar. Waterfall chart. Very similar to, it's just another type of bar chart. And let's see, creating data bars. Okay. All right, so part of what you're going to have to do, you have to put data bars in. And create the data bars from the conditional formatting button. So remember I talked about the conditional formatting where it highlighted things like if it was less than or greater than. It's going to do that. Did you say something? Evan? No? Okay. No worries. All right. May have been mine. May have been feedback. Okay. So the data bars, like I said, it's under conditional formatting, and you can go in and set it to whatever it is you need to get it to work. So let's see. Let me see if I can even do that. All right, so I don't know that I can do that because I don't really have a lot of information on here with numbers. So get that. And let's see, conditional formatting. Home. Yep, conditional formatting. So you remember you got your data bars. So we got data bars here. So we click on data bars. We got solid fill. Oh, hey, I can do stuff. Nice. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so I can put data bars on here with my information so that it kind of helps give you a graphic of that represents the number. It would probably be good if I, of course, the highest number is 3, so it, it kind of divides it into 3 pieces there. So you got your 2/3, and then you got your 3/3 or 1 or 4. Anyway, that's pretty simple. And data bars. And then you can go into manage rules if you need to change the rules on the data bars. So under data bars, so let's see. So you just click on conditional formatting, manage rules, and this is where you can create a new rule if you wanted to, and when you're done, okay. I don't think you have to do that on the assignment, but it's not a big deal. All right, creating spark lines. So there's your spark line. Have to have a lot more information than I do. So basically, you're going to pick a range, and it's going to, you'll go to spark lines and add them. Let's see, spark. Spark lines is under insert. Yeah, right there. Oops. Creating, editing, spark lines. And so they've got their data bars here, and then they got their spark line after it to kind of show more information. So what'll happen is you'll highlight, if I remember right, you'll highlight the information and then it puts the spark lines on the next line over. If I remember right. I could be wrong. But it was pretty simple when they showed you how to do it on the thing, or when you do it on the assignment. And they're still talking about formatting spark lines. Okay. Oh, yeah, you have to go style. That's fine. That's fine. As you can tell, this is my most favorite one to go over, right? Yeah. Sorry for the sarcasm. I apologize. Can't help it. Anyway, so in general, it's really just a matter of following the directions. They're not that bad, going through and doing it. Then what I may do is I may pull it up and kind of go through it. I don't know. I probably should make a video separate to show some of the stuff. That's a little bit better than when I go through it. All right, so what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with something that looks like this on that one assignment, where you've got like a scatter chart and you might have a pie chart, and then you've got a chart, or well, it's not really a chart, it's just your information there. But it's got data bars, it's got spark lines. Then you might have another one over here that's a combination chart, and so on. So you've got all these different kinds of charts on here to kind of, it goes through all the different areas that basically this book section goes over. And like I said, I didn't explain it very well. It's in the book. And, you know, sometimes it's easier for you to go back and read it because when I go over stuff, people aren't always paying attention. And even then, if you're trying to do it while the person's talking about it, it's really hard to, you know. Anyway, so it's always good to ask questions about that. All right, and then of course, that is the end of the book part, and then we go on to the review assignments. All right, so the data file needed for this review assignment will be in Blackboard. We'll go find it, we'll download it, and it says open up this one located where it's in Blackboard. And then you're going to save it as MPEX for Ortus, and the location specified, which would be your OneDrive or your documents on that computer. So it says go to documentation sheet, enters your name and date in that range. Pretty easy. Then you have to go to the allocation worksheet. So remember, the worksheets are at the bottom of Excel. You've got different ones. Real simple. You've got prospectus. You've got allocation, documentation, add data label showing the percentage allocated to each category, positioning label, and outside of it. So it's fairly straightforward. You have to create the chart, change the chart title. Then you have to do another one, change it to the name of it. Another chart, recent history. So you have to do quite a few different things. So like on the one, it says rescale vertical axis. That was under that scaling part that we kind of talked about. I'll pull that up here a little bit. Spark lines. All right, so this first one, not too bad. Now let me go back and make sure which ones we're actually doing. So we'll go to Excel, And so we're going to do on 4. So we're going to do 4 review and then case problem 1. So case problem 1 is going to be the, let's see, coup de grace, I think is the right word to say, or the top of the hill. So this is Certus. So this is going to be the one that's got the scatter chart on it. It should be. All right, so, and how many steps does this one have? This one has 17 steps. Maybe that first one actually has a scatter chart on it. Let's see. This one's only got stacked columns. Let's see. Because usually the review one has all the things that are in the one that the book goes over. It's just, it's similar, but not exactly. Yeah. Okay, so this one right here, the review assignment. So the review assignment is going to be the one that I'm going to make you really intimidated about. Not really. But that's going to be the one that's going to give you headaches, no offense. What I'll do is I'll get the assignment out and I'm going to I'll do some of the stuff so that I can kind of go back and show you some of the downfalls and pitfalls and all that fun stuff, and maybe I can help you to understand how to get this scatter chart to work right. So that's really all I wanted to kind of talk about. Much ado about nothing, sometimes I feel like when I talk, but that's okay. The best part is, after this week, we're not going to mess with Excel anymore. Yay! We'll have to mess with it at work all the time. Yeah, well, but we are going to start working on AutoCAD, and AutoCAD, I'm a whiz. I have 30 plus years experience with it. So I can pretty much make it walk and talk and do whatever I need to. Not to blow my own horn, but that one I know back and forth, okay? Excel I teach once every eight weeks, you know, once every semester. So some of this stuff, I may remember the stuff that goes wrong, but hopefully maybe I can make some stuff or come up with some short little helpful things that I can just put on the class so that you can just watch it when you want to and kind of show you how to do it. But what I'll do is I'll pull up the review assignment and mess with it and then go back and kind of show you some of the tips and tricks to help you out. Because I know some of you aren't there, some of you have already turned it in, and that's fine. All right, so if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys work, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay?
I got a question that's not about that.
Okay.
About this.
Sure.
Am I doing this? I'm trying to follow doing this right.
All right, well, I'm going to turn off the recording part because we don't need to record.